Without revolutionary theories, there would be no revolutionary movement. The founder of the Great Soviet Union, Lenin. This article is dedicated to the great Soviet people and the proletariat of the world. I hope everyone can relate the belief in communism. The original text is in Chinese. Translate into English using translation software. In case of any translation error, the Chinese version shall prevail. Ziyuism. First question, how can communism be realized? Second question, when will communism be realized? Since the birth of Marxism in 1848, these two issues have plagued us for 175 years. Actually, these two problems have already been solved. First question, how can communism be realized? Answer, fully automated production is the productivity foundation for achieving communism. As long as fully automated production is achieved, we have the material conditions for the transition to a communist society. Fully automated production is an unmanned factory. Robots are responsible for all production. Is this answer correct? Please look at the commodity price formula in Marx's Capital. Commodity price equals price of means of production, wages of workers' profit. Production materials include raw materials and machinery. Production materials are old values previously produced by other factories. This part of the old value will be transferred to the new product intact. No depreciation, no appreciation. Workers' wages and profits are new values created by workers in the production process. This formula is the basic formula of the commodity economy. The entire commodity economy system is based on this formula. What will happen after fully automated production is achieved? After fully automated production is achieved, the production is entirely in the charge of robots. No need for workers to produce, and workers' wages and profits are reduced to zero. No new value is created in the production process. Can't robot production create new value? No, robots are also machines and means of production. The value of robots is transferred to new products through machine wear and tear. No depreciation, no appreciation. So robot production cannot create new value. Without new value, the price of a commodity is equal to the price of the means of production. Produce as many goods as you invest in the means of production. This has three serious consequences. The first consequence is that the workers are unemployed. No job, no income, no food. The second consequence is that profits are gone. Capitalists don't do unprofitable business, so the factories stop production. Even if production is not stopped, the goods produced cannot be sold. Because the workers have no income, what do they take to buy goods? The consumer market has disappeared. Who are you selling your goods to? The third consequence is that the production process cannot create new value. The commodity economy cannot function without profit. The entire commodity economy system collapsed completely. This is a result of fully automated production. So how can we solve these problems? There is only one way. Establish public ownership of the means of production. Production is taken over by a government agency. And then provide free living supplies to the public. This solves all the problems. Production has resumed and society is functioning again. Isn't this a communist society? What is a communist society like? Look at the three basic characteristics of a communist society. 1. Public ownership of means of production. 2. Each according to his abilities. 3. Distribution on demand. This is communist society. Let's compare it. Public ownership of the means of production has been achieved. Free provision of daily necessities to the public is distribution according to demand. Both the first and third items have been implemented. Only the second item is missing. We won't consider this one for now. Because we have achieved fully automated production. The work is done by robots, and most of us don't have to work anymore. The second item is no longer important, so we won't consider it first. Isn't this a communist society? Second question, when will communism be realized? Answer, time to achieve fully automated production throughout society. Is the time to achieve communism? The world's first unmanned factory was born as early as 1984. The rapid development of artificial intelligence technology. Many high-tech enterprises have begun large-scale construction of unmanned factories. Now these unmanned factories earn high profits with low-cost advantages. This is the last glorious moment of capitalism. When the whole society realizes fully automatic production, all profits will disappear. The entire commodity economy system collapsed completely. Capitalist society will perish. Fully automated production is the gravedigger of capitalist society. When can fully automated production be achieved throughout society? I can only speculate about it now. The science and technology of capitalist countries in Europe and the United States are relatively developed. The economic strength is relatively strong, which may take 30 years. Fully automated production around 2050. China's technological level is slightly lower. The economic strength is also slightly weaker, which may take 50 years. Fully automated production around 2070. Other countries may be even later. The third question, the transition modes of the 6 social forms of human society. There are 2 ways of transition in human society. One is to promote the transition through productivity development. This is the viewpoint of historical materialism. The other is to promote transition through war. 2 social forms based on different modes of production. The development of productive forces is the main driving force for the transition. War is an auxiliary driving force for transition. 2 social forms based on the same mode of production. War is the main driving force of transition. With the development of productive forces, human society has experienced 4 modes of production. Based on these 4 modes of production, 4 economic models have emerged. Based on these 4 economic models, 6 social forms have emerged. The first mode of production is hunting and picking. Primitive society emerged based on hunting and picking. The second mode of production is agriculture and animal husbandry. 2 social forms have emerged based on agriculture and animal husbandry. One is a slave society, the other is a feudal society. The third mode of production is industrial production. A commodity economy has emerged based on industrial production. 2 social forms have emerged on the basis of a commodity economy. One is a capitalist society, the other is a socialist society. The fourth production method is fully automated production. A communist society emerged based on fully automated production. Look at the transition of these 6 social forms. The first transition, from primitive society to slave society. The production methods of primitive society were hunting and picking. The mode of production in a slave society is agriculture and animal husbandry. The production methods of these 2 societies are different. Productivity development is the main driving force for transition. Only with agriculture and animal husbandry as the foundation can we transition to a slave society. This is how the economic foundation determines the superstructure. Agriculture and animal husbandry are the gravediggers of primitive society. War is auxiliary power, and the first slave is a prisoner of war. The second transition, from a slave society to a feudal society. The mode of production in both slave and feudal societies was agriculture and animal husbandry. The production methods of these 2 societies are the same. War is the main driving force of transition. Numerous slave uprisings broke out in the long slave society. The most famous of these was the Spartak uprising in Rome. The continuous resistance of slaves led to the weakening of the slave owners. Transition from slave society to feudal society. The third transition, from a feudal society to a capitalist society. The mode of production in feudal society was agriculture and animal husbandry. The mode of production in capitalist society is industrial production. The production methods of these 2 societies are different. Productivity development is the main driving force for transition. Only with industrial production as the foundation can we transition to a capitalist society. This is how the economic foundation determines the superstructure. Industrial production is the gravedigger of feudal society. War is auxiliary power. Every time human society faces a transition, the decadent ruling class will struggle to the death. At this point, war is the last straw that will crush the camel. For example, the British bourgeois revolution of 1640 and the French Revolution of 1789. The fourth transition, from a capitalist society to a socialist society. The mode of production in both capitalist and socialist societies is industrial production. The production methods of these 2 societies are the same. War is the main driving force of transition. In 1848, Marxism was born. Marxism points the way forward for the proletarians of the world, leading some countries to establish socialist societies through war, including the Great Soviet Union and the Great China. Here we will discuss the planned economy. After the establishment of the Soviet Union, Soviet experts designed a planned economy. After that, All socialist countries realized a planned economy. The Soviet Union implemented a 70-year planned economy. Eastern Europe implements a planned economy for over 40 years. China implements a 25-year planned economy. But historical development has proven that planned economy is wrong. All countries that implement a planned economy have experienced serious economic difficulties. Economic difficulties lead to people losing confidence in communism. The upheaval in Eastern Europe in 1989 and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. The collapse of the Soviet Union was a great disaster. China has also experienced economic difficulties. Fortunately, China has born its second great leader. The East is red, the sun is rising, and China has produced a Mao Zedong. The second time the East was red, the second time the sun was rising, China produced a Deng Xiaoping. Mao Zedong led the Chinese people to establish a socialist society in 1949. Deng Xiaoping led the Chinese people to start reform in 1978. From a planned economy to a market economy. This reform has changed the fate of China. So that China avoided the outcome of the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe. China's economy is now the second largest in the world. China's experience proves that the market economy is correct. Why is planned economy wrong? Why is a market economy correct? The answer is here, because our production method is industrial production. A market economy arises on the basis of industrial production. This is how the economic foundation determines the superstructure. The fifth transition, from capitalist society to socialist society, transition to a communist society. Note, both capitalist and socialist societies can transition to communist societies, transition to a communist society. Because the production methods in capitalist and socialist societies are the same. The current mode of production is industrial production. The production mode in communist society is fully automated production. The development of productive forces is the main driving force for the transition due to different production methods. Only with fully automated production as the foundation can we transition to a communist society. This is how the economic foundation determines the superstructure. Fully automated production is the gravedigger of capitalist society. Will the European and American bourgeoisie prevent the transition to a communist society? All their efforts were in vain. Once fully automated production is achieved, the production process cannot create new value. The entire commodity economy would collapse completely. At this point, we must make a transition to a communist society. No one can stop the development of productivity. And no one can stop social development. The development of productive forces determines the development of human society. This is historical materialism. After the realization of a communist society, robots are responsible for all production. Most people don't have to work anymore. Free supply of all consumer goods. Money has disappeared, and humanity is no longer a slave to money. The complete liberation of humanity. There is no distinction between rich and poor, and everyone is equal. This is a paradise on earth. This paradise on earth is very close to us. This is the entire process of human social development. For production methods, hunting and picking, agriculture and animal husbandry, industrial production, fully automated production. For economic models. 6 social forms: primitive society, slave society, feudal society, capitalist society, socialist society, and communist society. 2 transitional modes of human society: productivity development and war. 5 transitions in human society. These theories are part of Ziyuism. Ziyuism has solved all the problems in the development of human society. The problems that Marx did not solve during his lifetime have been solved by Ziyuism. Ziyuism is based on Marxism and has emerged after summarizing more than 100 years of social practice since the October Revolution of 1917. Ziyuism is the continuation of Marxism. My account can be found on Wikimedia in China.